What's up, guys? It's Drac, and we just got a care package in from Dart Zone Covert Ops, and we're really excited to talk about some of these blasters with you. But first, Jinx, you gotta hop down. So Jinx has been really into being on camera recently. That one's not a joke. Right now, she's standing underneath the tripod and kind of upset that she's not in this video. So I think she might have a little bit of a diva streak in her at this point. However, this is the Dart Zone Covert Ops Storm Squad Quick Shot Blaster. Claiming ranges of up to 80 feet, this is a spring-powered pistol that's certainly pocket-sized. It is a 4-shot revolver, and it seems to have auto-rotation, which is unusual for a blaster at this price point. And that's the most fascinating thing that I want to talk about in this blaster specifically. This blaster comes in at $5 United States dollars for its MSRP, and I'm not sure if that's like a loss leader kind of price, but it's frankly just unbelievable. Thus far, the only thing that's come close to this MSRP in this space have been rinky-dink, really terrible blasters, and then of course, the industry standard would be the Nerf Jolt, which is a single-shot blaster that doesn't shoot 80 feet, and honestly, has been rehashed in its system ad nauseum at this point. It has very low modding potential, and you can't really minimize it because of how that system works. So let's take a look at the quick shot here. On the side, we have XLS. No idea what that means. It says powered by Dart Zone Primetime. Over here, it says Dart Zone Covert Ops. And all in all, the embossing is really good on both sides. It's got good detail, good molding. I'm assuming this is a pretty fresh one out of the mold just because it did show up relatively early. No paint on either side, which is fine. And then interestingly enough, this is just good design. We've got this one slot here. This turret is so small for this 4-dart cylinder. It's about as small as I can imagine a 50 cal cylinder being. It almost looks real steel-esque. That when it's not primed, or when it's not firing, when it fires, it auto aligns that first barrel. And then when it's not, it sits kind of half and half in between, and then there's this slot cut into the muzzle device here, which is perfect for loading of darts. Again, that seems to be like very derivative of real steel sort of design and inspiration. I know a really good friend of mine has a 4570 that has like almost a metallic flap that comes out and gives you a slot almost identical to this. Like very, very interesting. Up here, there's like almost an Easter egg. It says OXO. I don't know what that means either, but I do like that they put a lot of time into the molding, especially since at this price point, they're putting no paint on the blaster. Nevertheless, 3 full colors. You've got gray, Dart Zone's usual blue, and then orange, both for all of the functional parts and the muzzle device itself. Priming is easy. It's a pullback and it auto retracts. That's quite nice sort of prime. Unfortunately, with a blaster this compact, you do have the plunger sticking out the back. There's no real way around that. The only alternative is something Jolt-esque, and I would much rather have an actual plunger tube, an actual spring system that in theory could be modified. So we're gonna fire downrange here. This thing's actually, it's a little rattly. But it's sort of delivering some hits downrange. And I think that that's very, very interesting. It could have some actual power for a $5 pistol. My only complaints about it are, honestly, that's not bad. That's quite good. That's a little loud, so there's no air restrictor, which again is quite good if you want performance. This grip is very small. That would be my #1 complaint. Now, as a pocket sort of blaster or something designed for younger enthusiasts or just something really, really small, I understand the grip being this small, but my whole hand does not fit on it comfortably. That said, trigger pull is great. It's got that funky Z for Dart Zone kind of built into it, which at this point I think is very normal for all their blasters. Let's take it outside. Let's put it over the chronograph. Uncomfortable grip be darned. This thing is delivering some hits. All right, so this is our first break in the weather. Incidentally, still doesn't feel like winter in Georgia. Whatever, universe. But we're going to go ahead and put a few over the chronograph. We're going to get those numbers for you. Then we're going to put some down range and see how they perform. 77, 83, 74, and 77. So I think that it's safe to say that this is a little over elite style performance, and in a package this small at $5, I think that this just kind of goes to show that, well, that one didn't register at all. It just kind of goes to show that you can really dial your performance into whatever you need to. You would think that performance would be somewhat price affected, and I'm sure that at some level it is, but in a standard where elite standard or toy performance is all kind of measured by this bar of 70 FPS, like the fact that this can beat it at $5 is just ridiculous. And honestly, despite the small grip, this really isn't a bad pistol. Like, 4 shots is decent for a micro revolver. It's thinner than a Nerf Spectre, which was one of my absolute all-time favorite revolvers. And with FPS like that, it's actually doing quite well. I think that this would be fine in like a stock class, certainly in a stock class war. In a super stock war, this is an amazing include for a loaner bin, because at $5, if a kid happens to walk off with it, which unfortunately happens, but isn't the end of the world, or if somebody wants to keep it, or wants to modify it, or paint it, or break it, this is, in a lot of ways, I feel like it could be like the Maverick. It's such an inexpensive blaster that I'm sure is very simple inside. This would be a great starting pistol to modify and kind of break into the engineering aspect of the hobby. I would highly recommend it for that. And to that end, if this video gets, what's a good number? If you guys can get me 2,000 likes on this review video, I will happily do a full mod guide for this old school style top-down camera, because I think that it's important. I think that it's important to mention that, like, when a blaster like this comes along, it's inexpensive, it's got good out-of-the-box performance, and it's compact and usable. I mean, $5! I think that that's just what the whole review boils down to. This is a solid offering that only costs $5. You can't get a Big Mac combo for less than this blaster at this point, and that's just crazy. So, big fan of this one. Think that it's a huge win if you're looking for just a cheap loaner pocket pistol, or something to throw in your war bin, or something for stock class rounds, which have been getting more and more popular at the SCNC. I think that this is a fine option. So I'm super glad that they sent one over for review. I think that it gets a huge thumbs up. I'll let you know in the description box what retailers it's at and where you can pick it up. Again, if you're interested, like this video, and we'll have a mod guide coming soon-ish. I'm probably at SHOT Show when this video is going live, so if you have anything you want me to check out there, leave a comment about that as well. The only downside to this is my favorite thing about pistols, particularly revolvers, is how easy they are to spin. And with no trigger guard, this one's more of a juggling blaster than a real spinner. But that's the review. I dig it. Much love, Nerf Mod. Drac out.